Strange sounds,
Oh my man.
creepy figures, and things that definitely weren't human.
Why you keep following me?
These forest trails lead people to things they never wish to see. So hang on tight, as these are the scariest hiking encounters ever caught on camera.
Astaghfirullahalazim. Astaghfirullahalazim. La ilaha illallah.
A guy was just doing his usual walk through the woods when he suddenly felt like something was off. That's when he spotted two pale figures watching him from behind the trees. Their long ears twitched, and their hollow eyes faintly glowed in the shadows. He froze, and before he could do anything, they vanished like smoke. That night, he locked every door and window. But no matter what he did, he couldn't shake the feeling, like something out there was still watching him. Hiking horror. What made this guy hike in the middle of the night, deep in the woods? No one really knows. He started hearing weird sounds deep in the woods. He followed the noise and spotted a strange figure. It looked kinda humanoid, but the masked face made him look the scariest being alive. Surprisingly, the man was still calm, recording his encounter in peace. How the guy survived is still not known, but thankfully he did. Forest figure. This guy was hiking alone on a quiet forest trail when he suddenly got that creepy feeling, goosebumps out of nowhere. Then, up ahead, he saw it. A figure dressed in a long, dark gown. He didn't wait to find out more. He fled and never went back. Creepy hut. A hiker was out exploring deep in the woods when he came across a strange little hut with a wooden fence around it. Inside, he saw a figure in red sitting perfectly still at a table. Its face looked like a doll, frozen and creepy. Something about it didn't feel right. As he backed away, another figure suddenly rushed toward him. Then the video cut off. Nobody knows what happened next, but one thing's for sure. He walked into something he was never supposed to find. Campsite stalker.
Hey, please, I'm leaving.
After a quiet hike, this guy got back to camp and froze. His tent was trashed, ripped up, gear thrown everywhere. But here's the creepy part. A random man was just standing behind a tree, watching. He didn't move, just stared. The hiker grabbed what he could and ran to his car. But when he got there, the window was smashed and "Go away" was spray painted across the side. Then the man charged straight at him. He barely escaped. Never camped there again.
Hey, please, I'm leaving.
Witch in Black. A family hike took a creepy turn when their youngest stopped and pointed toward a nearby tree. Beneath it sat a figure dressed in all black, completely still, with its head covered. It wasn't just creepy. It was massive. Its size, shape, and silence had them all thinking the same thing. It looked exactly like Bigfoot. One of the adults quietly pulled out a phone to film, expecting the figure to shift or look up, but it didn't. It stayed locked in place like it was stuck in some dark ritual. Dogman encounter. A guy thought he was just filming a bear until he got home and checked the footage. Whatever he caught on camera was huge, sure, but the snout looked weird, and it had hands, like actual human-shaped hands. Then it turned around, and boom, its face looked part human too. That wasn't a bear. A lot of folks say it was the Dogman, this creepy half-man, half-dog thing people swear lives in the woods. After seeing that face, yeah, you couldn't pay him to hike that trail again. Night Watcher. A guy was walking a wooded trail at night, just trying to get home. Out of nowhere, he got this weird gut feeling like something was off. He slowed down, looked around, and spotted someone, or something, standing by a tree. Tall, with long hair, just staring right at him. It didn't flinch, didn't move quickly or anything, just turned around and walked off like it had somewhere else to be. No noise, no rush. That was enough for him. He backed out and got moving. Whatever that was, he didn't stick around to figure it out. and never used that trail again. Black Watcher. A mom spotted her little boy heading into the woods, way too close to the mountain's edge, but when she caught up, she froze. A figure stood nearby, dark, quiet, almost like it was waiting. It didn't speak, just stared. She scooped up her kid and ran, not even looking back. Locals said the thing had been seen before. Some believe it uses magic to lure people in. She got lucky. Not everyone does. Island Watcher. A couple was exploring a quiet stretch of beach when something off in the distance caught their eye. A tall, still figure dressed head to toe in black. It was still, just watching. The second their eyes met, something felt off, like heavy air or a gut feeling screaming, "Get out!" They didn't wait. They turned around and left fast. That peaceful beach suddenly felt haunted, and yeah, they knew they'd never be going back there again. Night Encounter. A camper was chilling in his tent when a weird sound cut through the wind. At first, he figured it was just the woods being noisy, but it didn't stop. Curious, he grabbed a flashlight and stepped out. The cold air hit hard as he followed the noise through the trees. That's when he saw a tall, hairy figure just standing there, tilting its head like it was trying to figure him out. People talk about jinn stories. That night, he walked right into one and barely walked back out. Hidden Giant. A hiker in the Oklahoma woods was just filming the scenery, not realizing something massive had crept into the frame. When he checked the footage later, there it was, this huge, dark, fur-covered figure, just standing still, staring into the trees like it was deep in thought. At first, it didn't notice him, but when it finally did, everything got tense real fast. The video cuts off right after that. Judging by how fast it ends, the guy didn't stick around to see what happened next. And honestly, who would? Haunting Hike. On the Bukit Jugra Trail in Malaysia, a 20-year-old woman was hiking with her family when she suddenly collapsed. But what happened next was seriously disturbing. She dropped to all fours, started growling, and her eyes looked completely wild, like she wasn't herself anymore. Her jaw was tight, her teeth clenched, and the way she moved, it was like something else had taken over. Everyone around her just stood there, frozen, not knowing what to do. The whole thing was caught on camera, and honestly, it didn't look like a normal medical episode. It felt like something darker had taken hold. Forest Giant. While walking through the woods, a hiker started hearing heavy steps behind him. At first, he thought it was just a big animal, but the ground shook with every step, and something felt off. Then he spotted a massive figure, way taller than any human, covered in black and moving fast. He quickly ducked behind a tree, holding his breath as it passed. It never looked his way, but deep down, he knew if that thing had seen him, he probably wouldn't have made it out. Forest Spirit. A group of hikers were out in the woods after dark, flashlights cutting through the trees, when they spotted a girl sitting alone in a white robe, clutching some strange bag. But when they stepped closer, it got real creepy. Her face didn't look right, and her eyes wide like she wasn't even human. That's when it clicked. Locals say she was a jinn, a shape-shifting spirit you don't mess with. The hikers didn't ask questions. They turned around and got out fast. Whatever they saw, it wasn't meant to be seen. Mountain Giant. A local man in Mexico was on his way home when something up on a far-off mountain caught his eye. At first, it looked like a person, but it was way too big. Like, impossibly big. This thing moved slow and steady, walking down the mountain like it owned the place. Then it vanished into the trees before anyone else could spot it. Trail Terror. For weeks, people living near the woods kept hearing terrifying howls at night. Curious and a little scared, they set up a trail cam to see what was out there. At first, it was just empty trees and shadows, but deep into the night, something showed up. A tall, hairy figure moved through the frame, and the way it moved wasn't right. It didn't walk like an animal or a person. Then one frame froze its face, and turned out it was definitely not a wolf. And no way it was human. It looked just like a werewolf. After that, nobody went near those woods again. Firelight Ghost. While traveling through Indonesia, a guy decided to rest near the forest for the night. He lit a small fire, pulled out his phone, and started recording just to remember the moment. But later, when he watched the video, his stomach dropped. Right there in the footage, just a few feet away, a ghostly figure walked past the fire. He hadn't seen or heard a thing while sitting there. That peaceful night turned terrifying in an instant. He packed up and got out fast. No questions, no second chances. Ritual Hill. A hiker was making his way up a quiet mountain trail, but what he ran into was anything but peaceful. A short distance off the path, he spotted a group of people gathered in a circle. It looked like the group was performing some kind of strange ritual. He didn't wait to find out. He slowly backed away, kept his head low, and got down that mountain fast. Whatever they were doing up there, it wasn't meant to be watched, and if they'd seen him, he might not have made it back. Horned Watcher. A group of explorers headed deep into the woods, chasing rumors about a haunted house hidden off the trail. But the second they got close, something felt off, like they weren't alone. Then, someone's camera flashed, and that's when they saw it. Crouched in the bushes was a dark figure, glowing eyes, sharp horns, and a shape that wasn't right. The second their flashlight hit it, it let out this low, bone-rattling growl. That was enough. They dropped their gear and took off, not turning back. Shadow Dweller.
Pensamos que era una persona.
For weeks, creepy sounds had been echoing from an old, abandoned house. Finally, one guy got curious enough to check it out. The moment he stepped inside, a tall figure in black moved, slow, smooth, almost like it was floating. It didn't charge at him. It didn't speak. It just shifted from one side of the room to the other, and then stood still.
Pinche madre, güey.
The walls were covered in strange symbols, like some kind of ritual was in progress. The whole place felt heavy, like the air itself didn't want him there. He backed out and left fast. Window Watcher. A paranormal investigator pulled into a ghost town once alive. Now just dust and silence. The second he stepped out of his car, the air felt off. Then he saw it. A face in a broken window, pitch black, with glowing white eyes. It stared straight at him. He froze, heart pounding. The figure vanished, then popped up again behind a crumbling wall. Then another window. It was moving, watching. That was enough. He spun around and ran straight back to his car. Whatever was in that town, it clearly didn't want company. Hybrid Terror. A video from Thailand had people doing double takes. Out of nowhere, this wild creature pops out from behind a wall, face like an elephant, body like a man, and it looked ticked off. It wasn't just chilling there either. It moved like it was ready to charge. No joke. If that thing's real, hiking in that area just jumped to the bottom of my bucket list. Tree Climber. While hiking through the woods, a man spotted something scaling a tree up ahead. He figured it was just a kid messing around, but as he got closer, something felt off. This thing was small, covered in dark fur, and moved way too smoothly to be human. It hit him this looked like a baby Sasquatch, and if that was true, the bigger ones had to be nearby. He didn't hang around to test that theory. The forest got way too quiet, way too fast. He turned back and walked out fast, not looking back once. Field Creature. A farmer was out in his fields doing his usual work when something strange caught his attention. Behind a patch of thick bushes, a tall, horned figure poked its head out humanoid, but not quite right. It looked around slowly, like it was searching for something, maybe even him. Luckily, he wasn't close. He froze, barely breathing, hoping it wouldn't spot him. After a few tense moments, the thing backed into the woods without a sound. The farmer stood there in shock, then quietly packed up and left. He never told anyone in town what he saw. Not once. Vanishing hiker. Some hunters were out in the woods when they found a beat-up camera half buried in the dirt. Looked like it belonged to a hiker who'd gone missing. Most of the video was shaky and hard to watch, but one part stood out. The guy was running, glancing over his shoulder like something was following him. In the background, you can see something move, just barely. Then, the camera drops. That's it. No more footage, no answers. Forest giant. A bunch of kids were messing around in the woods in Adigea when they noticed something big moving through the trees. Whatever it was had thick fur and moved way too fast for something that size. It ducked behind a tree and disappeared, almost like it knew the forest better than anyone. At first, they thought it was just some wild animal until they really thought about how it moved. That's when it hit them. They hadn't just seen a creature, they saw Bigfoot, and it wasn't just an American legend anymore. Creepy humanoid. A group of hikers were out in the woods when they got this weird feeling like someone was staring at them. One of them turned on a flashlight and pointed it through the trees. That's when they spotted her, a pale figure in a white dress, standing still in the dark. Her face looked off, and her eyes were just empty black pits. She didn't move, didn't blink, just stared. That was enough. The group backed away slowly and left without saying a word. No one wanted to know what she was. Rocky sighting. In 2014, a weird video started making the rounds. A hiker was out at night, walking across rocky ground when he heard heavy steps nearby. Curious, he pulled out his phone to record. That's when something massive stepped into view. It had a long nose and a bulky shape, just like those old stories of mountain creatures. It looked around like it was searching for someone, then stared straight into the camera. The second it charged, the footage cut. That's all we got. No answers, just a whole lot of chills. Roadblock beast. Two teens were out for a late-night drive when they took a wrong turn and ended up somewhere off. No lights, no people, just an abandoned town that felt frozen in time. As they creeped down the empty street, something stepped out right in front of the car. Not a person. Not a regular animal either. This thing was huge, like way too big to be a dog, and it let out a low, rumbling growl that shook them both. It didn't move, just stared. Without thinking twice, they slammed it in reverse and got out fast. Whatever that was, it wasn't normal, and they're convinced it was a werewolf. Blue mystery. In June 2020, Sandra Hughes went missing while hiking in California's Sierra National Forest. Her car was found near a trail, and her campsite looked untouched, like she just stepped away for a minute. But she never came back. Crews searched everywhere, but nothing turned up. Then a kid claimed he saw a woman with blue hair wandering nearby.
And he describes down to blue hair. He said she has a black shirt, blue jeans, and blue hair.
Could it have been her? No one knows. That sighting only made things stranger. Branch watcher. One night, a local guy was sleeping when a strange noise woke him up. It was coming from the tree just outside his window. Something was shifting through the branches. Still half asleep, he stepped onto the balcony, thinking maybe it was a bird or a monkey, but the rustling didn't stop. It felt different, like something was hiding, just out of sight, watching him. Then suddenly, Silence. No wind, no movement, just a heavy, eerie stillness. That's when it hit him. Whatever it was, he definitely wasn't alone. Midnight grin. Two friends were walking home late at night, just joking around while crossing an old bridge. Their camera was rolling, but nothing seemed weird until they watched the footage later. That's when they saw her, a woman, frozen in place, staring straight at them. Her face had this creepy, stretched out grin, like something was seriously wrong. What's wild is they didn't even notice her at the time. They walked right past her. If they had seen that face in the moment, yeah, things could have gone very differently. Face reveal. Out in the deep woods, a hiker left a trail cam, not expecting much. But what that camera caught, easily one of the scariest hiking encounters ever. Right up close to the lens was a massive, hairy face, one that looked way too real to be fake. It wasn't a person, and it sure wasn't a bear. That thing looked just like Bigfoot. For years, people searched for proof, and this might be it. Whatever it wasn't scared of being seen just standing there, staring right back. Blue encounter. During a solo hike, this guy came across something that flat out stunned him. Just off the trail stood a tall figure with long hair, thick beard, and skin that was straight up blue. Not gray, not pale, blue. He didn't hang around, just backed away real slow and left. When he posted the video, people freaked out. Some said it was just a weird mountain hermit, but others were sure it was something way more creepy. Whatever it was, it made this hike one of the scariest encounters ever. Goatman encounter. Two buddies were hiking up a mountain, soaking in the view, when something felt off. That weird, someone's watching us kind of feeling. Then they saw them glowing eyes staring through the trees. As their eyes adjusted, they spotted it. A tall figure with huge horns and a face that looked way too much like a goat. The Goatman. They'd heard the legends, but now it was real and way too close. They didn't wait around. One last glance, and they got out fast before things took a darker turn. Road creature. This didn't happen deep in the woods, but it sure fits one of the scariest hiking encounters. A security cam on a quiet back road picked up dogs barking like crazy. They weren't barking at nothing. A huge, human-like figure suddenly crawled into view, dragging its body in this weird, twisted way. It didn't move like a person at all. People online called it a skinwalker. Others had no idea what it was. But everyone agreed whatever that thing was, you'd never want to come face to face with it on a hike. Flying cryptid. While hiking through a quiet wildlife reserve, a man spotted something in the sky that stopped him cold. He pulled out his camera and caught what looked like a dark, flying figure, almost like a human-shaped angel with wings. The clip made its way online, and people can't agree. Some swear it's just cloth tied to a drone, others think it's edited to look old school. But the man, he knows what he saw. Out there in the wild, not everything flying above is just a bird. Silent stare. This guy hiked the same forest trail every day with his dog. Nothing strange ever happened, but one afternoon, his dog suddenly froze, ears down, tail low, just staring into the trees. The man looked too, but saw nothing. Still, the dog wouldn't budge, like it was watching something move right past them. He didn't hear a sound, didn't see a thing, but the feeling hit hard. Something was off. Trusting his dog's reaction, he turned around and left. Smart move. Some things don't show themselves until it's too late. Nature guardian. One hiker was out on a quiet trail when he noticed a figure standing by a tree. At first, he figured it was just another person enjoying the woods.
Doesn't know I'm watching him.
But the longer he looked, the weirder it felt. This thing wasn't moving, and it didn't feel human. It gave off this strange old energy like something out of a legend. That's when it hit him. Maybe he just walked up on something ancient, something that protects the forest. He didn't stick around to find out. Some hikes aren't meant to be finished. Trail terror. Back in 2006, two friends went hiking near an old, quiet Spanish village. They figured it was just another abandoned place until they spotted something hunched over in the dirt. It had pale skin, super long limbs, and looked like it was eating. Creeped out, they moved in for a better look. But then it turned around. Its face was something out of a nightmare. That was all they needed. They turned and ran, and honestly, that hike turned into something they'll never forget, for all the wrong reasons. Goat feeder. In San Marcos, some farm workers kept hearing weird noises coming from the goat pen after dark. One night, they finally decided to check it out. As they got closer, flashlights in hand, they saw something straight out of a nightmare. A huge black figure crouched over a goat, tearing into it. They froze. Then it stopped and slowly turned to face them. That's when the panic kicked in. They ran as fast as they could, only a metal fence between them and whatever that thing was. And yeah, what they saw matched all the stories. They're convinced it was the Chupacabra. Camera snatcher. One guy set up a trail camera deep in the woods, hoping to catch some cool animal shots. But when he came back the next day, the camera wasn't where he left it. It was yanked off and tossed aside. He figured maybe a bear got curious. But when he checked the footage, his stomach dropped. Something with stretched out skin and hollow eyes had picked it up. Not a person, not an animal, just something else. After that, he never set foot in that forest with a camera again. Can't blame him. Terrible surprise. Some hikers out in East Texas caught a glimpse of something massive moving through the trees. They got closer, thinking maybe it was just a big animal, until they saw it clearly. This thing stood nearly 9 feet tall, covered in thick fur, with shoulders too wide to be anything normal. But the creepiest part? It wasn't scared. It just stood there, like it had been living in those woods forever. They didn't stick around to ask questions. Some creatures, you're just not meant to meet face to face. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. And let me tell you guys, this is one of the creepiest hiking clips ever caught on camera. This old video from 2003 showed a man hiking deep in the woods when he suddenly took off running for his life. At first, it seemed like he was being chased by something strange, but then the footage revealed several tall, muscular figures surrounding him and tying him to a tree. And the creepiest part? They started doing bizarre, unsettling movements around him. No one ever figured out what those things were. Some believed they were ancient forest beings. Others thought it might have been a group of Bigfoot-like creatures. Rangers only recovered his camera. He was never found. To this day, he's still missing. So, was it just an elaborate prank? Or did he really stumble into something terrifying?